Hey y'all, or how do you say it in the South when you welcome people?
Hey, y'all.
Hey y'all, that's there. That's almost. Or like you say in the Southwest, yeah, hey everybody. Welcome to the Miles and Points Report. It has been a couple of weeks without any show. We had Easter, and we were on a little bit of travel. I'm lucky enough to have Marshall. He is so busy because he works for the government, and you know how hard employees that work for the government work. Thanks for joining us, Marshall.
Hey, my day job. That's undisclosed information. That's what that is.
Oh, okay, yeah. He, he's
Yeah,
he's he's a garbage man
just a
in
guy.
North Carolina.
I'm just a guy. Gets on the internet, says stuff.
All right, so lots of information and lots of stuff have happened in the last few weeks. We're going to chat a little bit more about the a little bit more about various things that happened today. We're going to start talking a little bit about resort fees. So, um, yeah, exactly. Is there any, according to Marriott, people want resort fees. They're created because of demand from people. Does anybody actually believe that?
That sounds like something. They paid some consultant a lot of money to write for them.
Exactly.
You know,
So I
I
think
want the price.
yeah. No, I think that, the airlines in the United States have had, everybody says no in the comment field here. Absolutely. All over Facebook. Resort fees, bullshit. Okay. Yeah, no kidding. I think that at the end of the day, that what we've seen a lot of press releases that they're adding services. And the reality is that what we're seeing out there is when you buy a plane ticket, that's all inclusive. You might not get a place, the preferred seat. You might not get a preferred seat. You might not be able to check your bag, but if you bring your backpack, you will get a seat on the plane. When you stay at a hotel, you don't have a choice. These are things that you have to pay regardless.
Yeah.
And airlines are, have to disclose a total price on the website, while hotels don't. Marriott has an option where you can kind of have a slider if you want to have it or not, but as a default, it display things. And now it's starting to have consequences, which I think is phenomenal. So they just got a fresh fine from state of Pennsylvania. In 2021, they made a settlement with them over fees, promising to reform its practices. And despite of having a settlement, they didn't follow through on what they were supposed to be doing. So it's quite interesting to see that they're now being fined $225,000, a drop in a bucket for a corporation that Marriott. But what they're supposed to do is display rates to include the total price. It has to most be the prominently displayed price. And of course, that's not the case. Call center agents have to quote prices inclusive of fees. Not sure how that goes. I don't remember the last time I called to book a hotel via telephone.
True.
Rate displays sorted by price have to be sorted by total price inclusive of all cost.
True.
And also resort and destination fees cannot be lumped in with taxes in any display.
Sorted by total price.
Which why am I hearing myself here? Hello?
Sorted by total price.
Is that you, or do I have a window open here somewhere?
Yeah, I just made that go away. Sorry about that.
Oh, that was you. Okay.
Yeah.
So back to the thing here, and they they lump all of it together. You will have to look very, very closely what the fees are, and it's not just them. Hyatt is doing the same thing as well. They're also lumping it in there, all of it. So, but this is a deal that Marriott has done, and they're not complying with this. So now they got their first fine, and I think that's great.
Yep, me too.
I think that the consumers, this is borderline tax fraud, and also it's creative stuff, and they're also stiffing their online, the OTAs that are selling, third-party sites that are selling their stuff. They're stiffing them for money. Their travel agents that are selling also, they don't get a commission on the resort fees. They only get on the base rates. So I think good riddance on that.
Me too. I hope resort fees just go away, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's ever going to happen, but it's an all-American thing. There are some other countries that have various fees attached to it, but it's definitely inclusive in the price. But this is interesting. So we're going to go over to Gary's also reporting on that here, that Delta are starting to fly to London Gatwick after, gosh, how many years has it been since they flew there?
Many.
They as soon as they got access to Heathrow, they canned all of Gatwick. And now they just, not only are they flying to Gatwick from JFK, they are exactly matching the times that JetBlue and Norse Atlantic are flying. So they're flying around instead of being consumer friendly, they're literally sticking it nose to nose up to these two competitors that are here. Gary has said that they stick it. The only reason they're doing it is to stick it to JetBlue and Norse Atlantic. Do we agree on that?
I believe so. I can't fathom any other reason to do it.
Well, maybe they don't have enough slots and we know that there's high demand for travel this summer. Maybe they don't have enough slots.
Perhaps, but there's something going on with the slots in New York too, that they're able to pocket them and not use them over the summer, if you remember.
Right, so, I agree. I think there was something about that I heard. But it's interesting to see that they're going to have one sole flight. It's a 767 that they're going to be flying, it's interesting to see that you get this lone flight and it's all matched up. And I see also, I can't see who's commenting for some reason today, but I see that Spain is going to add tips to the bills. I saw an article about that, and I read something about that a couple of days ago. Let's talk about that next week. I'll put that on the schedule. I don't think that it's a unison thing. The thing is that what they're doing is, when you get the check, you can do like you do now. Even when you go to Starbucks, they're trying, it's funny. I went to Starbucks here on Sunday before heading to church. I needed another extra espresso. And a doppio here in California, it's $2.50. They wanted to know if I wanted to add $1, $2, or $5 to my $2.50 bill. So I think that was kind of interesting, but I think it's kind of like that. It's, first of all, it's not Spain, the country. It's some restaurants now with the machines that you have the capability. And as we're seeing now, pretty much anywhere you go, they're trying to stiff, retail even, you go to a counter. We went to Napa, went to a lot of stores, you wanted to go buy some chocolate, or you want to go buy some, whatever the case, a bouchon, whatever your case may be. They have these sort of a tip thing. So it was an interesting gig, to say the least. But we'll cover that next week. And talking about, if people want to talk about tips, I'm happy to do that.
No, that's a good thing to talk about too.
Yeah, no kidding. So we're going to chat a little bit about how demand is this summer. Anybody's trying to book. Everybody who's trying to book flights anywhere right now are in for a surprise. What do you got going on from your travel this summer, Marshall?
Over the summer, just a couple of trips to Florida. I know everybody's like, why are you going to Florida in the summer? But it's no hotter than DC. But that's about some business trips too, here and there. But the personal trip, the one to Tampa, I wanted to talk about with you. It's because I just typically, that's 2.5 hours. Do I need to sit in first class? No. But, it's usually only couple $100 more for the two of us. And it's kind of a good deal, I think. And I just sit up front, wider seat. I'm kind of a wide body anyway. And Delta wanted $2,900 to fly round trip from DC to Tampa the week of July 4th.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is cool.
I thought so too. American was slightly less, but it was still over $2,000. So,
Right.
So I threw a little miles at it and a little cash here and there, but and did something different than what I had planned on 2 different airlines, and I'll survive. But that's not nearly as much fun as our trip to Rome in September, when I priced United Premium Economy nonstop from Dulles for the 2 of us was $9,000.
How much was that to Rome?
It's $4,500 each.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Premium Economy.
That's also sporty.
We'll see.
Well, I think that I've also seen it from here. From California. Also, LA is a pretty competitive market. We also have got Norse Atlantic there, and we've got Level. We've got a couple of other gigs going on with what are they called again? French B? Is that what it's called? Something like that. And so there is some competition going on there. But I've also, the trick that I've used, and that's even more important right now, is to, if you go to Europe quite a bit, is to use miles to fly to Europe and then do a loop going back and forth. Originating in Europe is definitely the way to do it. And I have got a flight going. I flew back from Switzerland from our summit there back here, and I'm going back to Italy for a business trip in beginning of May, and it was $950 round trip in American premium economy, and I spent I think $350 and 20,000 miles to upgrade to business class for one way, and then you could obviously do that also, and business was much higher than that. But going back from Europe, flying to the same route on British Airways and to in business class from Dublin to London to Seattle, we're going on a cruise, so on the 17th. So I'm flying in on the 16th, round trip in business class, flying from Dublin and then back, and ending up in Scandinavia for a family trip, was $1,700 round trip in business class.
Not bad.
Yeah. So it's a good trick if you have the opportunity. I know, obviously, I know a lot of people don't have the same schedule as I do, but that's how I'm able to do that kind of stuff.
And I could almost make it work this summer and fall.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that demand is very high for sure. It's interesting because at the end of the day, we're looking at we're looking at a rebound, but the question is, if the finances aren't really that good, why are we still, seeing prices like this? That's kind of interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, and also the same thing goes for United, who is now turning out to being one of the largest international, that has the most carriers, out of the U.S. carriers that has the most routes. They are starting a ton of new stuff, extra stuff on the schedule because of the high demand this summer. And new stuff is kind of interesting. There's some cool stuff here. Of course, they're using a lot of their old junk and like the old school 757 and all sorts of other fun stuff that may or may not require a stop along the way to put some gas in. Probably not in the summer, not the Shannon, but looks like the new services that they have are, among others, is Malaga in Spain, Dubai, which is already opened, but Dubai is something that, good luck. You have to have your head examined to fly United when you can fly when the prices are about the same to fly Emirates. You got Stockholm. They've got, I know that I saw that opening from late May. They will have from San Francisco to Rome, Barcelona, Berlin, Shannon, Edinburgh, and Naples, and almost 24 daily flights to London Heathrow, which is very cool. Service to unique places like Amman, Jordan, the Azores, Palma de Mallorca, and to Tenerife in the Canary Islands. All from Newark, I'm sure. Maybe something from Dulles. We'll scroll down and take a look.
Sure.
They've got more flights to expanded service to Australia, Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane, probably from Dulles. No, not from Dulles. From what's the name of that old continental hub? Oh, Houston. Probably some from San Francisco and LA. You've got 10 daily to Tokyo, Haneda, and Narita, and Osaka. They've got twice daily to Seoul from San Francisco, Hong Kong from San Francisco coming back, and things like that. Yeah, so they already. I know there's some people were on the inaugural from Newark to Dubai, Newark to Malaga, Newark to Stockholm, which is on a 757-200. Both of these are. San Francisco to Rome is on a 200 ER triple. Chicago to Shannon on the 75 with 16 premium seats. So good luck with that. Getting that upgrade. Dulles to Berlin on a 767-400 ER. They call it the no range 767. You got Chicago to Barcelona is on a 787-8. We know San Francisco, so they're actually year round from San Francisco, Chicago, Dulles, and Newark to Paris. Which is cool. They've got some other destinations, seasonal stuff from May 25th to October 27th from a whole slew of destinations. So that's pretty cool that we see some international nonstops showing up.
Lots of service.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. And for these fine little old ladies that have been in service for many, 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 many years are now finally being recognized by some nice pins that they're going to have on their uniform that looks like kind of like that. So you've got diamonds and sapphires and emerald. And should we come clean about us looking up? Before the show, Marshall and I was like, aren't diamond more worth than emeralds? And I thought that was kind of the gig, but I guess not. We Googled it, and emeralds are more valuable than diamonds are. Yeah, who knew? And I said we probably need to buy our women more jewelry, huh? But here's the chart: 55 years of service. You get the top gig here.
I said earlier, Tommy, and I'll say it now. I hope I don't want to do anything for 55 years other than live. I don't want to work anywhere that long, but
That's very true. That's very, very, very true.
More power to them.
Is it American, I think, that has a flight attendant who's like 130 years old or something like that? She's like, I thought I saw something about somebody that's been there for a very, very long time.
But she's not quite 130, I don't think. She's 80 or 80 something and still working.
So it says that Fru at LAX Global Services here, somebody is saying, has 54 years of seniority. That's
wow. God bless them. Guess Tommy
had to go back. There's some dude that's an appointment that we have coming up. I had to give that to Melinda. Anybody else that know anybody that post in the comments if you know somebody that's been there for a long time. I think that somebody at American there's a flight attendant who is like 95 or something.
It's got to be Betty Nash. She's not quite 95.
So how old do you think she is?
Got to be 80. It's out there. Let me look it up.
Yeah. Not quite 80. I think you're 86. Up for a surprise.
86.
There you go.
How old is Betty Nash? It's out there. 86.
Yeah. So how's that going to work? 90 seconds to evacuate an airplane?
Apparently she can still do it. And she has been working for American, and I'm assuming U.S. Air before that, for 65 years.
That's commitment.
That's a long time to do anything.
Yeah. No kidding. All right, so let's go to the next thing. So yeah, that's cool. I like it if people are appreciating their employees and showing off proudly. Wonder if we're going to get one of those million miler things to put on our get a little pilot's button there, like a little wing.
I'd look great in that.
Yeah, me too. All right, we're going to chat a little bit about the high-speed train in California. So there's some new, all of these things. There's a lot of yakking about it, but not so much action about it. And it seems like all of these they need to get some new PR people here. But what's now seems to be clear. There are three different things. It has to do with ridership estimates. It has to do with increased cost. No surprises there. And it has to do with timeline. So they're building like nobody's business. They got 10,000 people every day going to work building high-speed train in the Central Valley. And as we talked about earlier, is at Caltrain, who is a part of high-speed rail, meaning that they're going to be sharing tracks between San Jose and Gilroy. And no, not San Jose, San Francisco, San Jose, and Gilroy, where Caltrain operates today with these old, yawny, old diesel trains that are there. High-speed train, California high-speed train has already invested $864 million in the tracks between Gilroy. And for those who are not familiar with California, that's, about, I would say maybe an hour maybe south of San Jose. So if we were to look at the map of the high-speed train, it's if we were to look at the map of the high-speed rail and what they're planning on doing and what the gig is here, let me find one so we can kind of see what the story is here. Here's the map. I don't know if you can see that. No, you can't see it because it's on the wrong tab here. Here we go. Can you see that?
Yep. Yeah.
Right. So the piece that's under building that right now is from Merced to Bakersfield. That's the area that's funded and it's been paid for, but it's now going up because of inflation. It's going up with $10 billion. Then you have the piece from San Francisco to San Jose, which is this thing here, where Caltrain has begun testing, and it's January of next year. It's going to be available. The trains are on the tracks, the electric things, but I guess you need a year to go testing.
And you got to make sure they work.
Exactly, and that's the story. So these are the Siemens train that are made in and not in Germany. They're actually made in Utah, I think, is where they assemble these. So these are German trains. They're good known from Europe. They're one of the big differences here is that they accelerate a lot faster, so the stops will be a lot shorter. So what the problem is here is that the central from Merced to Bakersfield is the first piece of it, right? From Gilroy to the intersection here has not been funded, and there is a plan for it. The environmental studies are done, everything is done, but there is no funding and there's nothing going on. And it's a mountainous section that is very, very difficult to build trains in. Or it's not difficult, it's just very expensive because of the earthquakes, potential earthquakes and things like that. The tunnels have to be in a different type of quality than a normal tunnel is. So, I mean, San Francisco to Bakersfield doesn't sound very sexy, of course, but I think that one of the major issues we see in California is that the jobs are in San Jose, they're in Palo Alto, the big high-paying jobs, but there aren't places for people to live. We are short in the Bay Area hundreds of thousands of houses or affordable. When I say affordable, it's Palo Alto, San Jose is close to $2 million for a 2-bedroom split level, right? For 1,700 square feet. So it's so expensive that unless even if you make 150,000, it's still not feasible to have a house there. So that's the thing, but that could easily change if you had people live in Gilroy or out, close to Merced or Madera, even Fresno, because we're talking about 20 minutes, 25 minutes to hop on the train from Gilroy to San Jose, probably 10 minutes when you go, 225 miles an hour. So that could have a major impact, even if the LA to San Francisco piece is not done until probably long after we're dead and gone. You have infrastructure that's under construction right now that has a piece that's very, very short between Gilroy and the intersection by Merced there, as you can see in the photo. And that's the thing. And now they're saying 2030 to 2033, 10 billion over for the Central Valley piece. And so, which is an increase of 25%. No, actually, it's not. It's an increase of about 28%. They're also saying that the official estimate of future ridership has dropped by 25%, which is, I don't know if it says further down. If you look at the long article, it says that the ridership is because of COVID, but that will obviously not be a concern in 2030.
Of course, I don't know what they were estimating before and what that 25% off of, but I don't think COVID is going to be a factor in ridership. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's too long for that to happen. But looking at the issue here is that California has paid for 86% of the funding that has now taken place, right? And which is, for a national rail project, is ridiculous. I mean, out of the $75 billion that was allocated to various things, $8 billion of that should have been given to California, and they gave nothing. There was zero allocated from the infrastructure bill, and Amtrak has gotten $50 billion, something like that. And we took the train from Seattle to Vancouver here, Melinda and I, like a couple of weekends ago. We went up to Whistler, and we decided we wanted to. We were supposed to go to Victoria, but so fly into Seattle, go to Victoria, and then go into. But various things, including like we were going to take the seaplane, and you can't have bags with you because of weight. They don't let you do that with more than X amount, and we're going skiing, so it was problematic. So then going from Seattle to Vancouver, they don't let you pick up a rent-a-car to go across the border. So we decided to hop on a train, and that was on a Sunday. And it wasn't very far, but it took freaking forever. It was 35 minutes late. Yeah, so we left 7:50 a.m. from Seattle on this old piece of junk.
We've done that.
Picture. I don't know where my phone is, but I think I have a picture somewhere.
Yeah.
Where the hell is my phone? Well, we'll talk about it. I can show it next week. But everything was sold out at that place. They had like a red marker, and it was like permanently sold out in the cafeteria there. So we left at 7:50, and we were supposed to get in at 11:45, and we got in at 12:30. To the Vancouver station. And it's, that's who you're betting your money on. They should have clunked down. The federal government should clunk down. And of course, now since the QAnon piece of the Republican Party has taken over the House, Kevin McCarthy, who's from California, his constituents are the benefactor of this train, where he's from, the Central Valley. He said, and I quote, let's see. I saw he was in. I saw there was. In no way, shape, or form should the federal government allocate another dollar to the inept California high-speed rail, was his statement. And who is from Bakersfield, where the train, one of the places where, if you can see these are one of the guys who pushed hard for getting the train to go in the Central Valley instead of going in a straight line south.
Yeah.
All of these Yankee-dory redneck places in the middle of the state where nobody lives. He's literally responsible for that. And
I'm not familiar with California politics, intimately familiar anyway, but that may.
No, but that's the delay, right? And we see Brightline are now doing the same amount of miles. Of course, it's easier to build, through the desert to Vegas from far east of LA. It's much easier, but at the end of the day, that's what happens when private companies do it, right? It's all politics ruins everything. It's just this project should have been done a long time ago, and if they by some miracle get the Gilroy to Merced intersection financed, and they get a plan from that, so at least can do San Francisco to Bakersfield, and get people to feed in to make it feasible financially into the tech area where the most the highest paying jobs in America are located in the Tenderloin between San Jose and San Francisco, right? If that by miracle should happen, getting to LA, and also they don't even it costs like $2 billion to do the downtown San Francisco piece. They come into the old station, which is like outside of downtown, and they have a brand new station that's built. What is it called? The Salesforce Center.
Yep.
And there are tracks in the basement connected to nothing. So,
well, you got to hope for the future, Tommy.
Yeah, you hope for the future.
Fingers crossed.
Well, I hope we're still alive when good things are happening. All right, we're going to talk credit cards at the end of the day today. It's been like 3 weeks since we did this. 3 weeks ago, we talked about the American Express Gold Card, which is the gold standard for getting earning money from restaurants and from supermarkets. I think that's what we figured out for that card. Today, we're going to talk about the American Express Platinum Card. And the only do you have this card?
I do. So
the only earning piece that's decent for this card, or is best of any of the cards out there, is for flights.
Yep.
And it's 5 miles per dollar spent, or 5 membership reward points per dollar spent for flights. And if you have spend, and you spend a lot on plane tickets, this is a great card to have.
Sure.
So, but is it worth it enough to pay $695 per year? That's the $1 million question. And do you want to take a stab at that?
I've had the card for, what year is it? 23. So I've had the card for 17 years. It used to be more valuable when it got you into more lounges than the Delta Sky Clubs and the Centurion lounges, which are all overcrowded. But I still think I fly Delta enough that the Sky Club access alone probably helps me pay for the card. I always spend the airline fee credit, the Uber credit, the Walmart Plus credit.
So hang on for a sec. Let's talk about the airline credit. So first of all, this is so we're absolutely crystal clear on this. You should not put money on this card except for blind plane tickets, right?
That's all. That, and I pay my cell phone bill on it because of the insurance.
There's insurance on this?
There is cell phone insurance coverage on this card.
Is it insurance or insurance?
I don't know the difference, but
we got to look for that. I want to see that thing. I'm paying mine on the Capital One card because you get 2 miles per dollar spent. I pay my cell phone bill there, and it covers up to $800 when a phone breaks.
The coverage sounds similar to the Platinum card.
Okay.
You're better off putting it on the Capital One card because of the two
right
Capital One points per dollar.
Okay, so let's see here. It costs $695 a year. What do you get? So the hotel credit. So if you are so the hotel credit is for the fine hotels and resort. You get $200 cash back or credited back to your card. And I found use for that, meaning that I have a hotel that I usually wouldn't stay at, like a Four Seasons that costs like $400 a night, and I can get, or $500 a night, and I can get it for $200 to $300 a night instead. But in reality, I am forking out more money. Let's not kid each other here. I'm forking out more money than I probably would have in order to get that back. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a splurge, if you will. But at the end of the day, did you use it last year?
No, I have not hit that hotel credit yet.
Yeah, so it's usually easy when there is a nice place. I mean, a lot of people use it at the Westin that's close to the Disney so Disneyland in California. I know there's a Westin where it's pretty much you get all the money back. So it's like usually $200 a night and that kind of stuff. So there are various areas where you can get value for it. For sure. So it definitely adds value if you stay at fancy hotels every once in a while. The $200 airline credit. Talk to me about that. Tell me how you're using that.
Sitting in coach, buy a drink on occasion. I bought a couple of pay for glasses of wine at the Admirals Club recently, and I was reimbursed for those. So I usually spend the $200. I don't have to worry about bag fees generally or anything like that.
So you have it but the difference here that this is the most difficult credit to use of any credit card out there. So if you, for example, compare it with any Chase product, right? If you compare it to the Sapphire, anything that codes as travel automatically comes back to the card.
That's right.
And here, for me,
you got to work at it.
And I honestly not as big of a lounge person anymore, to be honest with you, and meaning that first of all, so you get access to the Centurion Lounge for sure. It has some value. Getting access to the Delta Lounge is there. So for me, who has lifetime status and don't have any fees on American or United, it really and usually for the few Delta flights I have, so here who do I tune it into, right?
Sure.
So for me, I put it to Southwest, and I've used it for upgrades for A1 to be in Business Select, 1 through 15 to be in the first group, right? That's what I have it tuned into. I've never used all of it though, because I have. Just noticed here that I have so many of these hooch vouchers that they send me from Southwest, and any first one who puts a U.S.-based person who puts their name up in the comments section right now, I'm going to send you the 4 free hooch drinks in the mail. So put the comments in there, and I'll get that going for you. I think that we lost a lot of people who were on. It were 80% when we started talking about high-speed rail. But I think that's just you and I who are interested in that. But yeah. So I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if I've ever be able to use it. I wish it was a little bit less restricted.
I do too. I mean, obviously the Chase Sapphire Reserve travel credit's easier to use. That's a better way to go, I think. But I've spent the $200, and it's April 13th.
You spent it already?
I've spent it.
Yeah, I don't check bags. I haven't paid for any seats because I get those for free. I mean, I guess I could have bought but it's too late because I have it tuned in to Southwest now, right? So I can't change it. It's just one airline.
Well, you're gonna spend it. You'll spend that on South, or at least.
Yeah,
something.
I mean, I also have the Southwest card. Melinda just got the. We've got. She's got companion. We both have companion pass right now. Or I think I had it, and I think I'm getting it back. I don't know. It's too much going on right now. All right, let's move on. So we have the Walmart credit, and would I have Walmart Plus if it wasn't for this card? No.
Nope.
But there are things that you can order from Walmart that are cheaper, that are, quote unquote fancier than, or better things. Like it's Topo Chico. I like the sparkling water from Mexico. I like that stuff. And that's always cheaper at Walmart. So usually we order that from there, and some other things. So I would say that, it's a nice thing to have, because it's an option when Whole Foods and Amazon wants $20 for a case of Topo Chico, and Walmart charges $11. Then
there you go.
It's a good thing to have. The next thing is the digital credit, which is $240 a year, and I'm using that. So I have New York Times. It's $8 a month for the plan that I have. I have Hulu, and I have Peacock, and I have more than I can use here, right? For the credit, I'm using the $20 a month. I'm using that. Absolutely. Right off the bat, I'm using that. Absolutely.
From almost the same things. I don't have Hulu, but I got the New York Times and
maybe I think we may have. So Disney Plus, it's in a bundle, and I think it's free from somebody else.
Yeah.
I think it's free from somebody else. I think it is. All right. Uber Cash. Uber's food delivery program just has so many fees, and just like Marriott's running it, right?
Sure.
So, I don't use that. I use it for the drives, right? The $20. You could either use it for Uber, for just driving an Uber, take an Uber, or you can use it for food. And the tip is, though, if you don't want that expensive delivery, you can do pickup. If you're not traveling and you're not taking Ubers, use it for pickup. It should be an easy gig to do. $300 Equinox credits. I think it costs like $400 to be a member there, or something like that. Right?
It's some ridiculous number. I know.
Yeah. So that's a dud for me. Not doing that. And then the Clear credit. Absolutely, it paid for me and Melinda's Clear. And it's zero cost, so that absolutely gets used. Not here at home because there's no lines or anything, but definitely a good gig. Nevertheless, for many other airports, like I would have missed my flight out of the one that I took for the Travel and Adventure Show in DC when you bailed. And we were going to have dinner, and you went down to Florida or something. Then I would have missed my flight on Sunday if I didn't have Clear that day. There was a lot of people in line.
Yeah.
You have Clear?
I do.
Yeah. You're doing the same thing.
I had original Clear.
What does that mean?
The very first version of Clear, the original company, I joined Clear years and years ago. And when they re-upped, or reconstituted themselves, I joined again, and then now that's paid for by the Amex Platinum card.
Yep, and that's a cool gig. So that's valuable for us. So I see a lot more people are now on. Anybody wants the Southwest for drink chits here, put it in. They expire at the end of this year. Put your name in the comments, and happy to send them out to you if you are US based. And then you have the Saks Fifth Avenue. It's, I don't know. Do you remember using that one?
I don't love it, but I finally figured out I can buy 2 new pairs of underwear every 6 months. And so that's what I do with it.
Yeah, I used to get the Aesop shampoos. Is what I used to get with it.
Yeah, I use a lot of shampoo
or something like that.
Yeah, tons of shampoo here.
Yeah, so they've stopped making the one that I like, and also they've had still a lot of delivery problems even with that, and so I've kind of skipped it. So I got to find something else to spend it on. Also, they screwed me over. They were out of it. Melinda ordered something like on December 26th, and they didn't process the order until January 2nd or something like that.
Oh.
So they screwed me over on the coupon, and everybody told me to pounce in. So that's kind of so I guess there is value. Talking about lounges, yeah, you get the Delta lounges, which you don't get with any of the other cards unless you have a Delta card, and you get the Centurion lounges, which you can't get into with any other cards. But for Priority Pass, it has the lowest end Priority Pass, and it's funny, right? You can go into the restrictions are kind of weird. That you can bring a guest into all the lounges and other than to your own, unless you spend $75K. But Priority Pass, I'm using the best one to use is the Ritz-Carlton credit card. We're going to cover that card in a couple of weeks. But that's kind of the gig here. So how do we feel about the card? Do we feel like it's worth it? Are we close to canceling it, or?
I'm not close to canceling it. If I get to a point that I'm not traveling very much, I may have to think about letting it go. But as long as I'm flying Delta 4, 5, 6 times a year, and the rest of the benefits, I think it's paying for itself or getting close.
Right.
So I'm keeping it for now. The sun may rise on a day when I step it down to a gold card and just deal with the Sapphire Reserve, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, I think I buy plane tickets for customers and for consultants or people to work with us and things like that. Lots of it a year, like more than $100,000 worth. And for me, that's a no-brainer for now. Sure. The digital credit is $240. The Walmart one is it's not like whatever. The airline credit, sure. If we're kind of the Walmart credit, the hotel credit, I use most of this stuff, but not all of it. And the Uber credit of $200 is also kind of there. So I do find value with it. And if you buy a lot of plane tickets, it's absolutely the best card to get. I mean, it's definitely a no-brainer because the other, you earn more mile or more membership reward points, which is a much more valuable currency than just an individual airline. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that's the gig. So it is 2 thumbs up from both of us. Should we say that?
You bet.
All right. And so then for our wallet now, we have gone through the American Express Gold Card. To recap that, it is 4 miles per dollar spent on supermarkets in the United States. Or is it globally? It's definitely globally for restaurants. Amex Gold. The Amex Gold gives you, gigabit Ethernet. Here we go. 4x on U.S. supermarkets up to 25K. But if not, it's a lot of gig going on there. And then membership rewards is 4x for restaurants all over the world, right? So that one we've reviewed, given it a thumbs up, and then we did the platinum card. I would say that the only thing that is better than 4x for supermarkets is to have the Amazon, the no-fee annual fee credit card from Chase, the Amazon card, which gives you 5x on everything Amazon related, including Whole Foods.
Yep.
But that's a cashback, of course, or a Amazon credit back. So those are the cards of the week, and that's all we had to cover.
Wow.
That was fast.
I know.
So thanks, everybody, for joining, and thanks for dialing in, Marshall.
Always.
See you in a few weeks, and that's a wrap.
All right. Thanks.